A lot of repair work, which we did. Snow removal, it was Michigan's documented worst winter ever, and we picked up additional areas for removal at no additional cost to Lincoln to get you through the winter, and we transitioned out the dispensers and products, which is also part of your cost savings because it was part of our contract to do so. And it will be part of your KPI and dashboard on this project as we're able to set aside the financials and understand here's what you budgeted and here's what you achieved. And really that's starting in July and going forward years, you can get a clear picture of what that's going to mean for you. So I'm looking forward to meeting, I think it's with Joanne to get that going as far as establishing those benchmarks and showing that it really is meeting the financial goals that you have. We placed personnel on site, training adjustments, leadership selection and training. It was a very busy winter. It was a very hectic winter. It was a very short start. And we jumped on it and we dove on it. And of course we were expecting some concerns to come up. They did. And luckily we had a good principal group that was willing to meet with us and start working on those concerns right away. We identified communication liaison was one of the top issues that they wanted to have improved. We assigned a GRBS Regional Operations Director, Diane Western, who's here tonight, to Lincoln to assist in that 360 feedback and training on the on-site leadership. We transitioned away from the startup team at the projected 3-month startup time. We trained our customer account manager, Tom Davis, who's also with us today, and to ensure daily communication, and we're receiving high marks from the principals on the communication improvement. It was our highest score when we just surveyed them this September. Please note this is all on schedule. It was in place by May, which is 6 months from the startup of the project. That's the timeline that we gave, was that it is going to take us 6 months to get this wrapped up and going. It just usually happens in July, not in December. So it was a very challenging start. Okay. We were asked to focus on day staff proficiency as our focal point for service improvement last March. We completed the following. We raised the wage for a better pool of applicants at 50 cents more per hour. We did that at no cost to Lincoln. We completed, and 6 out of the 8 we have been retained since last February after this was done. 1 left for medical reasons and 1 did not meet the standards for productivity or quality, and they were replaced for the start of this school year. The rest remain in place, and we're continuing to monitor that process. We met with the principals, and we were focusing on your priorities for the day staff, and we incorporated those into daytime staff manuals that were site-specific that we generated for the principals and for our day staff training, as well as we created and finalized the site-specific, that's what we did, is we created site-specific training manuals. Do we have those tonight, Diane?
I do, I can pass those out.
Okay, we'll get those out to you too so you can see some samples of what they were. But they're very specific to where combinations are, locks are, lighting is, where to remove snow, where to help with the mowing of the lawn. So they were very specific so we could get some better information on the training. One of the things that came about was that we were told that if there were substitutes filling in, that they were not as trained as proficiently as the regular staff. And it was one of those winters where across the state we had more daytime staff that was outside because of the snow in winter, and it caused them to really question their commitment to being a daytime custodian, given the fact that it was so harsh. And it was. The folks really put in a great effort, and we're very excited to have most of them retained. We did provide 2 full-time personnel for mowing this summer. We've had a successful summer. Lincoln was a little short-staffed in their grounds and maintenance. This is something we don't intend to keep doing because it's not part of what we contracted to do, but we did that for you at no additional cost. We restored over 60% of the floor care, the strip and wax, and the rest we scrubbed and recoated. We're spec for 33% a year, but we know that that accelerated program will make up for itself over the next 2 years. And we have an amazing, enthusiastic team. They actually won August Crew of the Month out of 40 districts. Our quality insurance reports will give you a copy of tonight of why they were selected to the August Group of the Month. We have excellent GRBS leadership, Lincoln custodial staff, 100% returning leadership, 100% returning night leads. I already told you the 6 to 8 of the day leads. We were generated over 59 WOW certificates that were given between January and May by teachers and principals to 22 team members, which generated over $1,000 in WOW bonuses to those staff members. There's a direct connection to if you service the schools and the principals and the staff appropriately, and that's documented in writing that we give bonuses out for our team to say thank you. We did complete our GRBS employee value survey in September. This is a really motivated, deep thinking group. The action survey begins in December. I welcome that at any time, if you would like to walk up to a GRBS staff member, you're welcome to quiz them, you're welcome to talk to them. We teach them segue service, smile, eye contact, brief, work hard, good, appear, say yes, so that we can make a positive impact on people that we come in contact with. Our first benchmarking was conducted with principals just in this past month. These are one-on-one follow-up to be completed in October again after 6 weeks of service has gone by. Our goal in surveying is not to find the complaints, it's to find what was going well and continue and what needs improvement and fix. If you ask for what's wrong, you're not getting to an action plan, which is what we're trying to do. But it's the start of the benchmark that we'll also measure our KPIs for you as customer service, as well as we've done our independent inspections and we have that available too. So the dashboard that you'll see starting to come out, which should be about November, is when you're going to get the quality assurance, the financials, the principal satisfaction, and the employee satisfaction, which are the 4 ways that we traditionally measure ourselves in our performance. And we're working towards then action planning and what's the next step. There always will be. These were the categories that we were rated the top from all the principals in the school. That's a simple average there, which is 8.5 on communication. It's accessible, complete, logical, good. That's in a 1 to 10 margin. Winter, spring, and summer break work is good. On-site staff, professional appearance, knowledge, and job scope. Management availability and customer service. These were lower grades last spring, so we're liking that they went into the direction. These were areas of focus that we were asked to focus on last spring, so they're definitely areas of improvement. The areas that didn't score as well that we're working on, we want to let you know that there was nothing less than a 7 out of 10. So we always see that that's room for improvement, and we always will focus that that's room for improvement, but at the same time, we feel that it was an acceptable grade for really something that's just been in place for not even a year. They would like our substitute staff trained and functioning independently, the site open and closed appropriately, although it was noted that there's some key issues that we need to work on with maintenance for that to happen as well. The custodial program meets the current needs of the school. It was interesting because some of the questions were about specifications and that the group as a whole not understanding them, and that was one of the common comments, was that they would like us to help educate their staff on what they're supposed to be receiving as maybe the fix actually to that particular issue. The overall cleanliness day to day, that was something that's improved, and light maintenance support improved from winter. The most common comments from the survey is unsure of specifications, to help educate, that there was a rocky start, and since this was the first benchmark, they said, you know, while today we may feel it's better, at the same time we want to kind of evaluate that whole 9-month period, and so they said securing doors, cleaning, light maintenance, and communication is improving or fixed now. And we feel this is normal for a mid-year start, but at the same time, we want to keep our ears open and make sure we're addressing any of their concerns. Maintenance repair issue for doors, part of security problem. We're following up on this with maintenance, and staff would like more deep cleaning. We're going to try to define what that means, you know, what teachers are seeing, because what we consider our complete clean is on a once-a-week schedule per specification, but maybe there's something we don't understand with that, and we're going to explore that definition a little bit further. And so we're off and running for the 2014-15 school year. We had a Perseverance Scholarship winner. GRBS donates over $30,000 in scholarships, and Lincoln had a winner. And we create books that you are welcome to put in perhaps your administration office that just talks about these amazing stories of these amazing young people. We're excited to support this program only because the students had to overcome personal hardships that are terrific and horrific. And for us to be able to say, thank you, way to go, that was something very inspirational. We share it on our websites, and then the winners are asked to come back to our supervisor banquet, and their stories are shared with our supervisors. It's a very meaningful program internally for us, and hopefully a way that's a positive support in the community. And happy to share that with you today. And perhaps most important of all, we've met or exceeded financial goals for contract and custodial as far as everything that we said that we would do. It was bid correctly. We have no add-ons to original pricing. Only community events are billed, and very few of those. All internal events are covered at no extra cost or overtime. We've saved the districts on ground support and grounds equipment. We've saved the district on consumable pricing. And 2014, the unemployment vacation pay fringe benefits will come off as far as the tally as that hits those deadlines, and those are now on us. So the savings should be as projected, if not more, and I look forward to hopefully opening that dialogue so that we can share that with you on hard paper. So we thank you for allowing us to service Lincoln Consolidated. We are proud to be your custodial contractor. And I know Diane's got a little bit of supporting documentation that we can give to you about some of those positive things. And I welcome if there's any questions or anything that you'd like further for us.
Questions? Thank you. So I will ask about the deep cleaning because there seems to be some ambiguity with that. How are we going to, facilitate of what that means to the staff and what it means to us.
What we have is it's listed in the RFP of what's done once a week versus what's done daily. And I would say that where the terminology deep cleaning came in is probably where there's discrepancy, because our terminology is, this is what we do once a week, this is what we do daily. And if people are saying your deep clean is on Wednesday, that's what your weekly clean is. We have maps that we distribute to the teachers that say this is the day of the week that you receive that weekly cleaning, and we need to change our dialect to this is weekly versus this is daily, and then see if there's something that the teachers feel is missing. And we could do that through a Survey Monkey, which is very easy to find out, especially if that could be used as an education tool to say these are your daily, these are your weekly, is there anything you would like to see that happens more frequently? Increasing frequency of something means we need to decrease some frequency of something else to make it a zero-sum add-on for you, but it's possible. And some teachers in some districts have asked for that, and we've been able to trade.
Any other comments or questions?
Karen, just as a point of clarification, Diane just passed this out. The column that has buildings on it.
Where they were working.
Okay, and so you've got buildings on here that aren't ours. Was that intentional?
I don't think so. I think it's probably just something that human resources, when they put it together.
Do you do Lincoln Park as well?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so
I'll find out
we'll
what it
go
is.
through that. Thank you.
No, those are all Lincoln employees for us, that work for us.
Some of them I noticed might be transfers too, people that transfer to Lincoln, so.
From another building?
Right, so if they might have worked in another district, they
okay.
transferred here, they got an admiration before, have another one now.
But those occurred while they were working for Lincoln.
Right.
Okay,
That's possible because of the first year. You're right on that.
thank you. That clarifies it.
Okay.
So this is an example of,
That's an example of the daytime books that were created. So you probably all have a different book in front of you, but essentially it gives more specific information about the particular schools.
how often do these get updated or?
They're being updated now only because sometimes something small changes at the beginning of the year, but essentially once a year is all they need to be updated. And they were, once again, they were generated last spring on schedule, just because of the, normally it's done in September or October if you have a July start. But these are from last spring, so they shouldn't need much modification.
Okay. Any other comments or questions?
Yeah, so the question I would have is within ourselves, being on performance, we want to set any kind of date at which we would have review on between what is needed in this book and nothing, or do we want to address that?
I think we probably need some time to look over what's been handed to us to decide what kind of information we need in the future and at what level.
This book is more for training our day custodians. Are you looking for more of the specification outline?
Well, what I was looking for is in performance, being able to judge are we getting performance, is if we ever had an interactive point of saying, well, there's something we need to add, we know we're missing,
Okay.
or when it was last updated to make sure, again, that communication effort that we've had, that we're getting corrective action in a timely manner, or if there's something falling through the cracks. I know we have other requirements for different programs where we see a review of the document just to see that it's current, and that everybody has a buy-in from the principal to your staff to our expectations. And I was just looking to Jennifer, who chairs that committee, what her views are to that, if we would put it on a schedule in the future, but our schedule's really packed. But I agree that once we see it and see how it's flowing, that it would be a good feedback principle to say, how's this schedule working out?
Okay. And happy to join you at any committee meeting that you might be having in the near future. And probably the most important KPI I would say is going to be the next one coming out, which is the one-on-one. And that's when there's probably about 15 different categories that are evaluated with the principal. And that will then show some metrics and data, and it really is coming from feedback. And definitely one of the issues is there anything missing from the spec or overkill on the spec that generates good discussion? But that would be terrific. Happy to join and share and do anything we can to help you.
When is that? The one?
That is done usually at late October, early November.
Yep, those results will be out by Halloween.
We like to have about 6 weeks in so that people are seeing the actual day-to-day service versus it was just the summer work.
Any questions? So for clarification, this is more of like a training manual for your staff.
Yep.
Any other comments or questions?
All right. Thank you. I very much appreciate your time to let us update.
Thank you.
Moving on to 7.0, superintendent and staff reports and correspondence. 7.1, superintendent's report.
Good evening, President Samuelson and Board of Education. One of the things that you know is that on Friday we had a storm blow through. I'm told that there's another one heading our way on Wednesday. Let's hopefully batten down the hatches sufficiently. You'll notice a list of storm-related damage in your messages. So far, what we know is a lot of things having to do with chillers, air supplies, air handlers, the sump pumps here at Brick, middle school soccer fields, the goals specifically, also some of our roofs at the baseball venue, at the football stadium, trees and certainly limbs down across the property. A maintenance crew was working on that today. So as that rolls through in terms of moving from identifying the problem to notifying our insurance to repairs, we'll let you know. And that of course runs through the business office with our Middle Cities insurance carrier. Enrollment, some very good news on the enrollment front that has us with, in addition to what you've already received, it has us with at least 100 students, possibly as many as 130 students higher at Lincoln High School than we had anticipated. So obviously that will require an increase in staffing. Is it possible that a reduction in staffing may need to occur within elementary areas? That certainly is possible. Could it mean that we would have some movement of staff or students within the district to different schools or other content areas? Absolutely, it could mean that. The administrative team is meeting Thursday morning to determine our necessary staffing, given the current enrollments that exist at that time. We will do whatever we can to minimize disruption to the students and maximize our budget efficiency also. Lincoln High School Principal Nicole Holden has already put through a request that you see there for additional health and parenting, additional AP Calculus, additional French, additional English and technology, and additional math and science. Recognize those are not full FTEs. That's a total of it's nearly 3 when all is said and done, 3 full FTEs. You'll also notice that Principal Nicole Holden has requested that the position of 1 full-time equivalent dean be reestablished immediately at the high school. So we will be taking that under consideration. Also, there is a report in front of you from Excel Consultant Group. I'd like to talk a little bit about the status of the Excel Consultant Group work. Mr. Matt Wash is here tonight, and I would love to invite him to simply talk to you about the scope of the work that you had commissioned and what he actually has done to this point. You'll notice recommendations regarding many items that are in front of you. And also you have in front of you a pupil transportation assessment report that we will need to unpack, and we bring you some information about that in your packet tonight. Mr. Losh? would you address?
Okay, can I just back up before you do that? I'm so
Yes.
sorry. So I want to go back to the storm damage and the insurance versus general fund. So when that information becomes available, I would like to know what, if anything, will come out of the general fund. And I'm also, believe we're still waiting for a report back on the flood damage back last winter, and if those damaged areas were ever reimbursed. So I'd like to know that. And then on the enrollment, that's great news. I'm cautiously optimistic about that. I'm thinking, well, I'd like more information in terms of, it's really not a done deal until the fourth Wednesday count. So with that in mind, I would certainly like regular updates on how that number fluctuates. Trustee McMahon?
On that note, do we have information on knowing, did we acquire those students from new people moving into the district real estate wise, or are they new students from the school of choice?
We have not done anything. We still have people coming in.
We have all of that data within our system, and we will make that available.
Okay. All right, thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
Okay, so Mr. Losh has completed the bulk of what it was that he came here to do with and for us, and I've been extremely pleased with the results of that work. Mr. Losh, if you'd like to address the board briefly on the status.
I'll try to keep it as brief as possible.
If your mic is on.
Is it
Yes.
better?
Okay. Thank you, Madam President, and board members. As you remember, we originally contracted with the school district for 4 different areas dealing with the transportation assessment report, which you have in front of you now, and you want to take time to read through that. That is also followed up by putting together an RFP to collect data and information on current market values, which will be helpful for the district as you move forward in developing plans for replacing school buses. As you've heard from your transportation staff, 75% of your fleet is at the point of immediate replacement. And we want to make sure that a plan is in place, no matter how slowly, there is a plan in place to rebuild that fleet condition. Facility maintenance supervisor is one of the positions that we have recommended through our facility maintenance assessment report. We're looking forward to a positive outcome with the hiring of a person for that position to take on boots on the ground compliance measures that go along with regulatory programs, energy management, monitoring, and so on and so forth. The MIOSHA regulatory programs, we're completing those, or the majority of those this month. We still have a few that the school district has written programs already on, but we want to go through those and just make sure that they're properly and currently updated to the current regulations. Those should be completed by the end of September, first part of October. District energy management, we've been working with, appreciate Joanne's assistance on this, and I know it's on your board agenda for this evening, but we have found that there are substantial savings right now in the energy management portion of your contracts and the purchasing of utilities. And one of the recommendations is to quickly renew your contract with Constellation, but most importantly, once that is done, to sign up for a flat fee program. I think you've received documentation from Joanne regarding that. I put together a rough graph showing you the magnitude of savings, and in fact, it's difficult to project because we don't know how how long the winter is going to be this year, but we have potential saving probably a minimum of 45,000 on up. It could easily double that into the $80,000 range. The other side of it is working with WDEE in your electrical utility service, getting the proper rates designated for the school district. We're trying to emphasize a goal of approximately 15% savings this year. It's too early yet to determine that, because you're just now starting to get back into the season where you're putting loads and demands on that electrical equipment. But 15% of a $700+ thousand budget is a significant amount of money, and I think that we're going to be able to reach out and grab a vast majority of that, if not more, in working through the recategorizations of your rates through DTE, and also some energy conservation and management that will be conducted by the maintenance supervisor staff. Our goal is to slowly phase ourselves out of the district. We've enjoyed working with you. I think you saw in our last report that we provided you, and also a comment in here that we don't get paid by the hour. We're a flat fee on our proposals, and I'm providing the superintendent with a written guarantee that we will not exceed the numbers that we've discussed with you folks as far as our reimbursables. In fact, the money that we're going to save just in the Constellation contract alone will pay for all of our fees and all of our costs, and have probably a couple $10,000 bills left over when we're done. So we hope we've been an asset to the district when we do phase ourselves out. We have a lot of work to do, and working with the new supervisor, along with, we still have another recommendation to hire another maintenance person, which is a critical part of the preventive maintenance program. And we hope that once the supervisor is on board, we can start that process up. There's significant work that that person can do that will also help reduce the energy usage in this district. So with that, if you have any questions, keep it short.
Comments or questions?
So the administrative team will be unpacking the pupil transportation assessment report, which we've received today. In our office, we had a draft prior to this on Friday, and we have a lot of work to do within this, and then to make some recommendations to the full board.
And I'm going to continue to provide these every week or two for the board review.
Thank you. Should you have any questions at any time, please tell us. Thank you. Oh, did you have something?
I guess I do have a question, but it's just with the goal of the 15% savings over the next year, who and when should we expect a report from them? A year from now.
Oh, a year from now.
I guess I'd like to.
I would love to come back and give that report, but I don't know I'll be at that point in time. But the emphasis is that the energy management, the assistance in the energy management role. Energy management is not a one-person responsibility in this district. It's too big, it's too comprehensive. But what we're looking at is that this new supervisory management position will be able to get their hands on and collect the data. Constellation has a tremendous online dashboard reporting system right now that we can go on and follow each month consumptions, costs, and so forth. The problem is that right now the costs are starting to climb up.
Right.
That's why it's very critical we lock in a new contract with a new flat rate. So you won't see these spikes in these horrendous climbs in costs during the winter season. They will also be able to work with the supervisor to provide information that will show the actual percentage savings for the district, as well as DTE. We will be able to track that through their consumption levels and the new price category or rate that they're providing the school district. They only have 3 rates, and right now you're on just a general customer rate. The school district's rate is lower than that, and then if you're a high-end user like large manufacturing, there's even a lower one. But if we can get down to that rate, and between the rate changes and the conservation that we're going to look at, I truly believe 15% should be an easy target. I try to be conservative because I would like to come back and have somebody report to the board next year, we save 21%. Okay, but 15% is a reasonable target.
Well, we'll be able to track that through,
I just want to make sure that we get feedback on it,
correct.
maybe
The
even
financial
6
piece will get
months
some.
and 1 year. And then one further question. So getting onto that educational rate with DTE involves what steps?
Well, there's some forms. We need to report the meters, validate in a report that the meters are in the addresses where they belong, and it's really up to DTE then to just slide us over to a school district rate.
So we can't expect any sort of retro reimbursement for what we've already been charged at the
Well,
loan?
we haven't given up on that yet. I addressed that with DTE, and unfortunately, because there was a breakdown in communication, I didn't have all the full authorization to speak on behalf of the school district on some of these matters. That has been corrected now, and we are targeting another date to meet with them to validate that the school district is on a school district rate. I know that sounds insane, but
Yeah, pretty much.
we,
And for how, I mean, I'm concerned about how long it's been like that, and we've just been,
a long time.
I'm currently reaching out with the individual at DTE. I replaced telephone tag between Friday afternoon and this morning, and I left a couple of messages. I'm assuming because of all of the electrical
Right.
issues going on that there's probably has higher priority today than other opportunities. But that is one of the questions I will be asking. Number one, getting the documentation, the documents to get this process and get us in the right classification, and to find if there is any opportunity for retroactive.
And I really appreciated Joanne's aggressiveness on this. I really appreciated that. So,
Well, it's good to know that we're still working on that,
Right.
and, you know, just frequent updates on it would be excellent. Thank you.
all right, any other questions, comments? Wouldn't hurt to have a little, competitor either information, just saying, DTE's not the only game in town. All right.